In this digital age, where the world is at our fingertips, we're dreamers, we're believers, reaching for the stars, yeah. With AI by our side.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Ekello Herod, and this is the Future Fiction Academy. Welcome. How are you all doing today? It's good to see all of you out there ready to do the good work that is learning your craft and creating your self-publishing businesses and making things that people love, that people want, that people continually try their best to get their hands on. You can be that person that creates that sort of thing. And what we have today is a nice treat. All right, so I'd just like you to know, one of the most genuine people that I've ever met, I happen to meet inside of the Future Fiction Academy, inside the mastermind. She's been involved in the mastermind for literally ever and has learned so many things straight from the ground when we hardly knew anything about anything. And she is absolutely, as a matter of fact, she just made my day because her camera wasn't working earlier and now I just saw it pop in, and so I'm so excited, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to introduce you to what I consider to be one of the most prolific authors inside of the FFA today. Her name is Ingrid. And I'm going to, if I can scroll to the right thing, I'm going to bring her to the stage right now. There she is. How you doing, Ingrid?
Howdy.
Howdy. So I've got a bunch of questions for you. Okay, and the first one is, Ingrid, tell me a little bit about yourself. Who are you? Who are you?
I was raised in New Orleans.
Yeah.
And I spent about 22 years there, and then I went to Texas after that.
Well, here's the big question. Were you like a big writer when you were younger? Or did you publish a lot of books before you found AI?
Well, I was in first grade, and I would get mad at somebody in class, and then I would write a book about them. And these were revenge novels, and they were maybe 3 pages long. But I started in first grade, and of course, at the time I wanted a horse, so I would write stories about having a horse, that kind of stuff. So that kept on going. And by the time I was like in 6th grade, these novels were becoming longer, and I was using those little tiny spiral bound notebooks, and I had different notebooks for each person that I hated. Ooh. So I was mean. Anyway, and everybody I had a whole constellation. It was world building, and so we had different farms and we had competitions. It was just all make believe.
Right.
And then anyway, I kept on going. I was editor of the yearbook, and that was like my first hard book, tangible book that I made. I was in 12th grade. Then we go into college. I got a philosophy degree. I went to journalism grad school.
Oh.
And
were you writing narratives at that point?
Not really, but I studied playwriting and of course journalism is journalism. So you're writing articles. I wrote a lot of articles, and then got out and kept on going. And so I did 22 years writing for a statewide newspaper, and that was monthly features. And I also wrote for the Chamber of Commerce magazine for 3 years, and those were paid things, right, that I was doing. And then, fast forward, I did all sorts of jobs. I believed that I kind of always wanted to be a writer. I'm going to be a writer. And I also believed I had to survive. So I believed that I wanted to work a whole bunch of different jobs. I was at one time a licensed detectives operative. I worked in hospitals, doing the arthroscopy when they would go into the knee was running the video. I took photographs
Secret Agent Ingrid. That's what I'm
and
gonna call
taking
you.
photographs and operations. And then I did a lot of restaurant work behind the line and also waitressing. I ran a catering business, and I cleaned a lot of houses and offices for 40 years because I had 6 horses I had to support. So I'm boarding them. And so I was doing anything I could to make money. I was taking in people's laundry, whatever. So that finally I got to retire though. And I retired at age 56, and 2017 is where I entered into Amazon and writing, on the internet. And then of course the FFA entered my life, and they catapulted me even further. So according to Amazon, I've got 71 books out, and it's, about half pre-AI, half after, more or less. I mean, I'm talking rough. And
wait a minute. So how many books do you before AI, you wrote about 35 books?
Something like that. I don't know. I haven't counted, but I have to. Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
Right.
And after AI, you have written something like 40, I think I said 48 books. You said you were at 48 books for the year.
Something like that. I haven't counted. I mean, I haven't. If you look on my Amazon, if you look on my pseudonyms, it's 71 books combined. So I haven't counted them, but last week I did 5.
This is the reason why I wanted to have you on, because you literally do not care about how many books you have or how you just care about writing the books and marketing the books and writing them as fast as you possibly can.
Stephanie Pajonas and Elizabeth Ann West and Stacey Anderson, Mira Gold have all been, and you have all been just really helpful in helping me get the confidence in, and I'm a slut. I'll use any LLM. I don't care which one. I'm not picky. But I'm after free. I pretty much zone in for free. I'm only paying for the chat, GPT one. Everything else, I'm just a slut.
Right. And you're getting, and so the things that you're getting out of it are real, like they feel like you're able to. Did you make fine tunes or anything like that? Okay, here
I did in the beginning. I did fine tune several. I don't know, maybe 5, 6, 7 fine tunes way back when Elizabeth introduced it. And I've attended several of the recent generation of fine tune classes. I understand the concept, but I mean, once you hear how I do things, I don't feel like I need a fine tune.
So it's fair to say that you have started your self-publishing business from scratch yourself, but you have a full-blown press that you create books for. And I mean, you are your own press. To have 71 books under your, that's a press. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have a backlist. Yes.
A pretty good backlist.
Yeah.
All right. There's a bunch of people who have already said hello. I don't know if you've seen in the chat. We've got Rachel and the Plumestone and the church 7 no
the Chucky
777. I was like, the church 77. So everyone's super excited to have you here and to hear your story. I have to tell you, when I first met you, you were, in my opinion, one of the most voracious learners in the entire FFA. You needed to know the nitty gritties because you wanted to get that process, that workflow, whatever it is that you needed, that nugget. You had to get that thing completely down, because if you didn't, then it would mess up, and you didn't want to not have help around you when it's happening. So you would make sure that I remember that specifically about you. Your questions were pointed. Your questions were specific, and you needed to know exactly where it was going to go. I mean, you even, you brute forced your way through Rexy, didn't you?
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Rexy 1 for sure. Rexy 2 was a bit of a bust, but that's
yeah,
a lot of
yeah.
coding. But yeah, and then Raptor Wright. I don't know. I did 10 books or something with Raptor Wright. But yeah, but it's fun. It's like a game. It's real. So I save and I write, and I'll write in any different genre.
Right.
Okay. So it's been fun. It's just been fun. But I save, like, my science fiction stuff is where I might have social commentary hidden in the science fiction. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And like I love dystopian. And then I do all these barn dramas. They're bitch fest, and it's like Mean Girl. I have several series about horses, and I've been with horses since 1960, and I'm a dressage rider. And of course, I have a horse. I play with another. I have horses on my life all the time.
I've
And
seen you actually come to class, and you have your riding crop and your hat and everything, and you're taking the animals around, and you're actually taking your class on a phone out or in the barn,
Right.
in somewhere. I've seen you do it on
Right.
multiple occasions.
Right. I never ride without a helmet.
Right.
So that's anyway. So yes, and then I have a lot of food knowledge, so I'll use that. And so what's happening now? So fast forward to evolve. What advertising was always, you got to market your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, during the pandemic, one year I lost $3,000 or $4,000 Amazon ads, and maybe I was starting to play with Facebook ads back then, and that just really was bad. And so it taught me a good lesson. And so I'm super paranoid about my ads. And I still today what I do are these $2 ads. I do $2 ads. I follow them like a hawk, especially the frequency. And those have been very helpful, because I've got a pretty good profit going now.
Mm-hmm.
But I've paid for my learning, as a friend would put it. The other thing I've done is I don't watch much in the way of normal news. I kind of, and then when I cook food, I kind of cook meals, and I try to mass cook in the weekends, and that way I don't have to waste time figuring out what we're going to do for dinner during the week.
All
so,
right.
Yeah.
Then here, you are about to get into workflow, and before we do that, before we get into workflow, I wanted everybody to know that this particular show, this particular live stream with the wonderful, incomparable Ingrid, is brought to you by the Future Fiction Academy. Today, tomorrow, the rest of the week, we are signing, the rest of the month, we are still signing up people for the May cohort of our accelerator. The accelerator is your ticket into the mastermind, your gateway into the mastermind. Now, the accelerator will help you write a novel from you'll have 90 days, and you'll have a novel at the end of that 90 days. You will sign up for, you'll have Plot Drive, you'll have a free credit with yourfirstdraft.ai, which is our new service that we're spinning up. And it's a wonderful way to get your basics down, so that when you actually get into the mastermind, you aren't driven completely crazy. And if you want to do that, if you want to learn from people who created a friggin' publishing monster that is Ingrid, who has basically put out 40 some books this year, and translations, all kinds of stuff, right, Ingrid?
I don't do translations. I do audio, but I don't do translations.
But she literally learned all of these great skills about AI from us, and it was one of those really great, like, synergistic things. She already had all this pre-existing knowledge, and she took that to the next level with the Future Fiction Academy. So come on over, and you can get it for $249 a month, and that will be for 3 months. And then after that, you can join the accelerator. If you can join the mastermind and really get into the fire hose of information that is the Future Fiction Academy. Now, Ingrid, this is the question for you. How the heck are you doing this, girl? How in the wow? Just don't get it. That's too much. I mean, this is a lot of work. Oh my goodness. Why? So
Well,
tell us, workflow. How does this happen?
um, where it's what I'm doing now is I'm kind of split personality.
Mm,
So I'm doing the books that I'm doing for entertainment, sheer
hmm.
entertainment, for my entertainment, for people. I'm doing those where I might go to the AI, any AI, or I use Olama even, which is just closed system within your own computer, and that way you don't have to worry about generating money. You can just work your own computer for free using Olama. Um, so I'll propose an idea to
Uh-huh.
the AI, and it might be one or two sentences.
Is this in chat?
It could be in chat, or it might be on Workbench or Playground. I don't care. I'm getting something like an idea, and then
I'm literally working on a video right now where it's talking about, the integration of pen and paper into process with AI. And I feel the same way. I feel exactly the same way you do. You're like, any way I can get it in there, any way that I don't care. I don't care what it is. I don't care where I am having that conversation, but it starts with the conversation. Go ahead.
right. So get it started, and then I'll say I don't necessarily always ask for an outline, but I do tell it I want a lot of conflict, and that comes from the drama stuff. I'm also taking right now a class with a really good fellow named Jeff Kitchen, of Script Kitchen, and he's a screenwriting guy, and I don't want to write screenwriting stuff. I'm just there I do want to do narrative books, but he is a finely trained dramatist. So when you can do drama on the page, you've got it made. And so I picture the characters rubbing elbows with each other all the time. Okay, they've got to be rubbing elbows and tight, tight, tight. Like weird relationships, but they still got to be tight, rubbing elbows. And so I've got the AI and I are talking together, and then I might get it to come up with an idea. Or another thing I've been doing is I'll take a whole darn PDF of a script from a movie, or I'll say, do you know this Agatha Christie story, for example, Sad Cypress? And it will say, of course I know it, and then I'll say, give me the plot, and then it will spit the plot out because it already knows it. Or give me the plot for Arrival, which is one of Steph's favorite movies, and it spits it out. And then I'll say, give me a dressage version of this.
A what?
A dressage, the kind of horseback riding I like to do. Or give me a catering, or give me a botanical garden, set it in a botanical garden. I don't care. I'll just throw variables in there, set that plot, stick that stuff into that plot, make it interesting. And then it does it, boom. And you've got a whole world built within under 1.5 minutes. And then you can start picking it out from there. And then you can ask it for an outline. You could say, hey, write chapter 1 or whatever. And then you're off to the races. What I don't like about AI writing in general, and I found this in most of them, is they tend to have this structure where they'll go, Mary Sue got the teacup, comma, the thing was balanced on her hand, comma. It has this weird clause stuff it keeps doing. So I have to go in and I fix that. And or it's not so much going off the rails like it used to in the old days, where it's like, next thing you know, Mary Sue's going to Alaska.
Yeah, olden days.
Yeah. So it's pretty much staying true. But then what I'll do is I'll get it to maybe give me like 3 chapters, and then I read them real closely, and I'll edit them real closely, and then I'll start going, okay, then I'll start building it chapter by chapter.
Right.
And I'm interjecting myself in there, and then I'm fixing it. I'm cleaning it up. Now that I learned, I mean, everybody's told me to do that before, but Miracle is the one that kind of put my nose to the grindstone on that one. So I used to be like, oh, let's just
let it
out.
run.
Yeah, let it run, and
no,
we'll be fine. Well, that's not true. I mean, I know so that's one type of book that I like to do. is the entertainment stuff, and then I do a lot of series that are basically horse series. Those seem to be doing quite well. I've done some romance books, but that's a crowded field. And then this other thing I'm doing is, and this is based on a serious. Now when I'm getting serious, I'm going to be doing a 25 Agatha Christie, the Poirot character / cross with Anthony Bourdain, and he's going to have this. And I've already got the world building up, but that sucker is going to be a lot more background work. It's going to be a lot more carefully drawn out using the Enneagram. If you go to Wikipedia, you can look up, and this is I'm getting from Jeff Kitchen, the 36 dramatic situations, supposedly back in a long time ago in 1800s or whatever, some playwright came up with 36 dramatic situations, and every single work of art has got those pieces of them in it. It doesn't mean to have all of them in it,
right.
but you can use those, like revenge would be one of them.
Right.
But you can, and you can have different situations in the book. Like maybe one chapter it's got that showing up, and the next chapter may have 2 or 3 other ones showing up. And you can even take those 36 things and you can even bang them together, just randomly. Say, like, hey, let's do a book that's got revenge mixed with Return of the Prodigal Son, boom. And then you've got something else you can write. I also, that's going to be my serious line, okay, where it's going to be a more serious book, let's call it that. The other thing that AI has benefited me by is I don't have any spelling errors. I mean, it's not like I can't spell, but
boy, did it drop it to the floor.
Yes. Maybe one or two, and I can clean that up when I get to KDP, when I'm uploading the books. Covers. Let's talk about covers for books, because you got to come up with your darn covers. Well, I had a cover artist. She was wonderful, Channy Taylor, and she did my first 10 or so or 12 books. And then, but if you were to take all my book covers and multiply it times what I was paying before AI, I would have spent almost $18,000 on covers. Yeah. I don't have that kind of money. And now that I use Midjourney now, and I couple it with GIMP, and I don't have Photoshop. And I know people use Canva and all this other stuff to stick their topography on, but I forced myself to learn GIMP. And so it gives me a huge variety of things I can do. And I'm using YouTube all the time to get myself, if I run into a stumbling block, I go to YouTube a lot. And then of course, FFA, you can always go back and look at their inventory, their backlog, their library. And there's tons of stuff back there that gets you back up to speed on certain things,
You are running like somebody chasing you, girl.
Oh yeah. So I want to talk about covers. So you do Midjourney, you do GIMP, and then you can slap that into KDP. I am in KU. I was a period where I was out of it, but I'm in KU and I'm writing for the KU people. And you get paid 0.004 cents a page read, more or less. So, that's fine, whatever. I have 1.25 million page reads so far, lifetime, which sounds like a lot, but it only equals about $550 lifetime in KU. But it's better than nothing. These are books that are sitting there. Otherwise, why not make some money off of it? Right. And then I can use that as an advertising thing, because when I run my ads on Facebook, I'll say free in KU, and that helps. That does help. And wow. I also have been using I'm tending more towards Facebook ads these days. I mean, I have in the past used Amazon ads, but I'm tending towards that. But those, they have a way where you can ask them they'll generate some pictures for you, and they will also slap some typeface on it. So I want to do a Facebook ad in under 5 minutes. I don't want to be messing around.
Right. I hear you. Whatever I'm making, YouTube, I call it YouTube packaging, where you figure out what the thumbnail is, what the title of the video is going to be, the description of the video, all that stuff. I try to do that in one run. So I'll have so it's all about efficiency. So this is what I'm getting from you, is there are no shortcuts. You have to figure out the tools that you need to figure out in order to get your job done. And once you figure it out, things do become easier because you know the tool, you know how to use it, whether it be Raptor Wright, whether it be Plot Drive, whether it be
saved audience on my Facebook ads. I have some saved audiences for Merlin. I have the series about this cat, paranormal cat, and so he's a detective, and so I've got 13 books of that. I had a friend of mine help me write about 10 of those, and then now I'm taking that series and going to finish it off. We got 20 books planned. And but anyway, I use saved audience for Merlin, and those would be little old ladies. So that book is for well, it's fun. It's cozy mystery.
I hear you, but you're so cute. It's for little old ladies. See, all right, okay. Whew. All right. Before we get any further, ladies and gentlemen, do me a favor. If you are enjoying this wonderful conversation with Ingrid, and I do mean wonderful conversation with Ingrid, then please do me a favor and like and subscribe if you haven't already done that. Go down there, right? You, and you go down there, like the video right now. And this way we can get this conversation out to a lot of people. So I'm getting work ethic from you, Ingrid. You seem like you like to work hard. You are you understand your limitations. You understand what you can do, and you try to get the tools in your life in order to make the best of the skills that you have, the brain that you have, the intelligence level that you have, the talent level that you have, the wherewithal.
But if changes, like if KU or something or Amazon, snuffs me out, I'll pivot. I'll go, do Shopify,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah, you don't care.
I'll just pivot. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that's a lesson within itself. So you have been dropping nuggets here for literally 27 minutes. You've been dropping like really good how advice about using AI and using it in your publishing business. But could you give me something more specific and tangible about advice that you could give to someone who is new to artificial intelligence and are trying to, get up to speed on using it effectively in their publishing business?
Okay. When you were a kid, you learned how to write, and sometimes people learned how to write by writing letters to friends. Start talking to it like it's a friend. Okay. Really, you could get on your phone and talk to it like while you're driving even, and dictate, like you do a lot of dictation.
I do too. I do.
Talk to it like it's a friend and become more comfortable with stream of consciousness. Okay. And start testing yourself. You could do things to test your own creativity. Use that sucker for creativity. Even if even if all you're doing is writing your grocery list, I don't care. Just start going to it as a fountain, as a wealth, and then ask it any questions. You can even say, "Hey, am I still going to be married in 2 years?" I mean, it's going to make up baloney, but I mean, why not ask it? Give it some details. Just go start using it and abusing it, and you can do that for free. I mean, Grok's free up to a certain point. Darn good old Claude's free. Olama's free.
You can do your skip the me Lou, my darling.
That's right.
Around from one free thing to the next free thing to the next free thing.
So start treating it like it's just a friend, and don't be afraid of it. It's not going to bite you, and there are no wrong answers. Now, if you're planning on having, doing something nefarious, that's a different story. You got to be careful, but just start grappling with it. Grab it. Another thing, start challenging your own creativity. Do silly things like walk backwards in your house, walk backwards to your car. Do creativity things. Start sketching. Start whatever. Just start challenging your own brain.
Use a pen. I can't wait to put that video out. I'm working on it very hard right now.
Now there's people you need to go to. There's that Facebook, Stephanie Fajonas's Facebook group, AI writers, AI. What is it? Right? What's the name of her Facebook page?
AI
for Authors Facebook
I
group.
literally was just in the page.
And Matt Wolf on YouTube. He's a good source.
AI writing for authors. AI writing for authors.
That's a good place to read any of the background stuff. Another page I go to for industry stuff is 20 books to 50K. That has got 80,000 members that you can read back, and it will teach you stuff about Facebook ads, Amazon ads. Use YouTube a lot. Regarding the LLMs, just start. Even say one of the things I used to do in the beginning is if we would be testing stuff while we were in class, and I would say, hey, let's make up a story about dog chases cat, and then it would spit out like these 3 paragraphs about that story. So come up with some kind of stock story that you want to just see if you want to taste the flavor of the different LLMs and see if they are if they like to write overly so or whatever. Do learn about the settings, like the temperature and stuff like that. It can make a difference.
Which, by the way, if you want to go over to the FFA, we've got free standalone classes over there just about that sort of thing, and a whole bunch of other classes too.
And what is it? What is a token? What's a token? But it's almost wild. It's like the wild, wild west out there. I mean, it's almost like you could feed a book in there, or 30,000 word something, and you could say, extract this. Google LM notebooks. I use that sucker probably once a day, and I'll go in there and have it extract stuff for me. And that's all free.
Yes.
So,
all right. Well, see, man, you are blazing through my questions. Am I going to have enough for an entire hour? You are burning. All right. Burn, baby, burn. How many pen names you have?
I have 2. It's Amy Simone.
No, you don't have to tell us the pen names if you don't.
I don't mind telling them.
Well, because the only reason I say that is because you might get a bunch of junk people buying your books that'll screw up your demis. You don't want to.
Okay, that's one of them.
That's one of them.
It doesn't matter if it does. I don't really. I'm fine with it.
I just don't know. The only reason I say I just worry about rankings and stuff like that. All of a sudden, you get a whole bunch of signups, but then you don't get anybody purchasing your book, and then it drops.
I don't have any signups. I don't have any signups. I don't do newsletters and all that stuff.
Oh wow!
So I don't do any of that. I've tried this stuff. I haven't. It's not doing. No.
Now, is it? Do you feel? You feel like that you're making enough profit, and that things are working out like you want it just with writing books?
Yeah, because I can write another book. I mean, so
I'm sorry, Ingrid. You are so refreshingly matter of fact. It's like well, I just write another book. Mm-hmm. I'm like, if I feel like I ain't making enough money, I'll write another book. And then if I'm still not making enough money, I'll write 2 more books. It's Ingrid, I enjoy you every single time I have a conversation with you. I have enjoyed your company. And it's mostly because you have a very matter-of-fact way of looking at things. You literally say, well, I need to do this, and I need to. It's almost as if you live in a world where everything is looked at in first principles. You have no information about the thing. You need to know about the thing. You have to find out. And so you take all of the information and make decisions on your own on what things are important and what things aren't. And that right there seems like a critical thinking sort of wonderful thing that people keep saying that AI is going to take away from us. But it seems like all of these people who are successful in their businesses that are also using AI, which, by the way, everyone, there's a ton of them in the FFA. And I mean a ton of them in the FFA, because they're all hunkering down and producing. Ingrid is absolutely an overachiever in the general world of self-publishing. She is among her kin, her kind, her people in the FFA. There's a lot of Ingrid in the FFA. I mean, she's
well, thank you. But they're very supportive group, and the Discord is fantastic. Very, very, everybody's even keel, mild mannered, very wonderful.
Yeah,
and supportive. Because whenever I've had trouble, I've reached out. I always got quick responses on any question. You know, my stumbling block, if you want to call it that, is I'm not a coder. I'm not a computer coder, but the LLMs, you don't need to be.
Right.
You know, you can just speak it, and you can even dictate the whole thing into it, and you don't even have to type. I mean, you could just speak your whole story and get the sucker to work it.
And it's this quick turnaround thing. You know, it's the idea that you can have a notion and then say the notion to the AI and then get kind of a fleshed out sort of thing and go, yeah. Oh, man. Okay.
It's like trying on shoes.
Yes, exactly. It is exactly like trying on shoes. Sometimes they're just a little too snug right here, you know, and they're a little too wide in the toes. So your feet, your toes are spreading out too much, and it makes it uncomfortable.
Now, what you've got to do and be careful about is you've got to monitor your tone. So let's say I wanted to do something that's Southern Gothic, you know, and so you want to be careful. Sometimes it can go too dark. You know, and every sentence is talking about the weepy Spanish moss. And I mean, it's like too thick. So you've got to edit that stuff out. And then you need to be careful about your humans. You know, you've got to talk about the people, and you've got to flesh them out and give some interesting details. Like, you know, he had a wart on the side of his face that bothered her all the time every time she looked at him, and she wished she'd go get it taken care of, you know, or
interjected all of those interesting little humanisms into all of the generic scaffolding that is being built by the AI.
Right.
Am I right? I mean, it's there to kind of just be a structure that you can latch onto to do things, or to create structure. Like you were talking about feeding in different types of PDFs and stuff and having structure extracted from it. Oh my gosh, what a revelation, everyone, that you can look at something and get structure extracted from it and get an idea of how to move forward with something that you're writing is pretty awesome. I think, Ingrid, maybe you need to do a standalone course on how to do that.
To me, it's like you're playing with blocks. It's like mix and match, and you can do anything you want. And you could write, if you want to write in first person, you can. I don't like first person, but you could write, you know, you could if you wanted to. It's anything's possible. So it's real. I wouldn't be here if it hadn't been for the FFA. I know that.
I have a feeling you would still be writing like a bandit, but you would still. But now you have this. I perceive you have a more relaxed feel about all of this because you have the capacity to produce so much so fast, and you're able to do it at such a quality that it really just benefits your business. Every time you put out a new book, you make sales, and people all are waiting for your books in the first place, and because you've got a following of people and a backlog and all of these people that you need.
The other thing you need to a person should do if they can. Everybody's got different knowledges, different wells of knowledge. Okay, I mean, let's say you're a mom, so you're going to know a lot about how to get the kids ready for school or whatever. You're going to have a knowledge base that you need to tap into. And that would be a place, like for me, for the moment, it's the horses. And I do a lot with that because I have a long history with them.
Right.
But everybody's got they could even start interviewing the AI and start feeling out what are my edges on that knowledge and where can it help me get more deep into that knowledge. And then you can start bringing in those characters and play with it. It's like pickup sticks almost, you know, but you've got to use, and this Jeff Kitchen says is baloney about just writing what you know. Don't write what you know. Okay. I mean, don't just limit yourself. You know, if you want to go to Spain in your mind, go there. So I've written some books in, you know, I've been to Europe, but I mean, write some books in or other worlds, you know, go there. You can do it. You do not need to write what you know. You know, if I want to write about a guy that does metal, he's a metal worker, I
Yeah.
can do it. All you need to do is just research it. And here I am quoting Mr. Kitchen again. You got to just research it just enough, not to be dangerous. He didn't say that, but just enough so you can sound somewhat credible. So I do a lot of that.
What how do you judge personally, how do you judge success in your publishing business?
Okay, you're talking about like money?
No, just whatever. Do you judge it by the how many books you sell? Do you judge it by the fact that you are continually publishing? Do you judge it by a monetary reason, in a monetary way? What is your definition of success?
To me, books are like going to the bathroom. Okay, I want to just get it out of me. Okay, just get it out of me and move on. Well, I'm serious, and once it's done, it's off my mind. Okay, I don't remember the book.
Do you have
That's why I'm using
do you have
Google LM
series?
notebooks. Pardon?
Do you have
Yes, I have series.
you have series? And
Yes.
so in your
Now let me tell you the trick about series and me. Okay, what I do with the series is I write the kernel book, the first book. Okay, and then I know the characters, so maybe I keep a handwritten tally of who they are. You know, Susie Q is the main character, and so is the villain. And you got to use bad villains. You got to have those bad villains, those bad situations. And I'm quoting again. You know, you want to have dilemmas. You want to build all that stuff up, but you want to have. So I have these little characters, right? And then I'll do Google LM notebooks, and I have the little synopsis of the book. So that at least is in I can look at it. It's only like 2 paragraphs long.
Oh, you drop your old books into Google LM, and then you just use that as your brain for whenever you need to write your new books.
Right. And then this is going to sound terrible. So, but then what I'll do is I'll have, let's say I'm set at barn A. Okay. And so so the reader knows barn A. And then what I do is I do like a hinge book. Book 2 will be a neighboring barn where the nemesis lives. You know, the bad one, the meanie. So then I have that world. But of course, they connect because they sometimes fight each other out at the horse shows, right? So that's the connection, okay? But that also means I don't have to remember so much about those other characters in book 1, right? So I did one whole series where it just kind of hopscotch.
It just hopscotches, kind of like that tumbleweeds and tequila sort of thing that Elizabeth was doing, where she was hopping from similar stranded heroin scenario with Mountain Manny dude, or from one to the other. You know,
I won't be able to do that with Lorenzo Finch, my new detective guy. You know, the food guy, but that's going to be, like I said, more serious and nailed, buttoned down. But the cat one, it's just the cat and his owner, and he's talking all the time, and they are going all over the world solving crimes all over the world. So the only variable there, the variable is the location.
Oh, that sounds. See, you're the thing that surprised me about this conversation today is how much about craft you talked. How much you talked about craft. Most people with AI, they believe that the AI, they believe that the way we use AI is that we grab the first thing that comes out of the AI, we don't do anything, and we just spit it out.
Right.
That there's no artistry to it, none of that.
No.
What they don't understand is that it's usually in an injection process. It's usually editing. Yeah, what ends up happening is the story comes from your brain in a conversation, either with the AI or your notepad or whatever you are creating the story from. Then you really get into structure and what the story is probably going to be about with the AI. But then you figure out all those things and make your choices. You are the taste master. You are the trendsetter. You are the person that actually makes the book feel like more than it already is, right? Like whatever the AI spits out to you, it's your responsibility to do that. So you do that, and then you have a very specific story, and it writes the specific story that you want, and then you look at that.
Sometimes you don't have a very specific story, but go on.
Okay, and all right, so
it's like surfboarding. It's where's the wave going to
are
take
you
you?
a plotter, or are you a gardener, or are you an architect?
I'm not sure what I am. All I know is I just want to just grab it and go. Okay. So like I said, I'm a cultivator. I don't know which one that is, but I will take, like I said, some of these entertainment books, I will take the first several chapters that I've generated, and then I will, cultivate it out. But the old days of where I used to have, the firm, rigid outline in my mind, this is sort of the old days. And then I was doing 3,000 words a day, that is, I'm not doing that anymore because there's too much delight in writing with the AI.
Yes, I had 3. That was always my goal, was to get to 3,000 words a day, because at the end of the week, you've written, at the end of the week, you've written 15,000 words, and you can really look at what you've done and feel like you've done something. So oh my God, I remember those days of 3,000 dictation words.
You can do, if you had to, you could do 15,000 in an hour.
Yes. Yeah. And decent words with the actual story. Well, when I say decent, I don't mean,
it's at least it follows narrative logic.
Right. Yeah. Right. And then you can go in there and do your thing with your editing and stuff like that. And there are everybody has a different process. But ladies and gentlemen, I see that there are more people popping in and out. Let me take a look and see if there's any questions that people have had for the incomparable. Oh my goodness, look at all of these. Let me see here. Wow, there's a lot going on here. A lot of people saying hello, especially sucks at grammar. Spelling always good to go over it with a fine-tooth comb. Welcome to the AI. Oh wow, these everyone's just having a back and forth conversation. It looks like. I'm looking to see 48 books in a year. That is crazy. Let's see here, right there. 48 books in a year. That is crazy. Go, Ingrid. I've written 3 this year, and I feel like I deserve a medal. Compared to the last 2 years, it's still amazing for me. And all right, so the only reason I even put that in the title and touted how many books, it wasn't because she just spit out a whole bunch of books and wrote them with AI. As you can see, the reason why I asked her who she is and what she does and how she lives her life and how she does her workflow is because she has a work ethic that is, bar none, one of the best work ethics I have ever run across in my life. The woman gets stuff done. She gets stuff done. We've always noticed that, and she does it casual. People have to ask her about these sorts of things. None of us would have even known about those 48 books because she doesn't talk about this stuff. She just gets it done. So before we get, because we've got a few minutes left, okay, and I need to let everybody know who's here right now that I have a community class. If you go in the description, they'll be at the top of the description. Click on the link and it'll take you to the calendar. Go to the day that we're in right now, which is the 15th, which is Thursday the 15th, and click on my community class and it'll take you over to a Zoom that I will be starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, which is 7 p.m. On the East Coast. So if y'all wanted to, just go down to the description, click on through to the community class. I'm teaching it and it's totally free. So make sure you drop on by. And also, we're the Future Fiction Academy, baby. We teach you all kinds of things. We have standalone classes out the yin yang, including choosing a publishing niche using AI for only 99 bucks. And also the easy peasy book machine. Build it, bend it, and break it down, y'all. There's tons of classes like that over at the Future Fiction Academy. So, is there anything you wanted to finish on? Because we're going to finish this up in about 5 minutes.
Don't lose your editing skills. Edit for other people. I do edit for other people. That's very important. Do keep your editing skills up.
Because it's very important when you're using AI.
But when you're editing for somebody else, it makes it more detached, and you might you'll handle it differently than when you're dealing with your own stuff. So I don't know, I probably do about 4 or 5 big books a year where I edit for other people.
Well, here's a question for you. Do you find it easier now that you're working with AI to kill your babies?
You mean a character?
Whatever, maybe a great scene or a cool
yes.
Yes. Does it feel
you just swipe it out?
Oh, because I feel like I get too invested when I come up with too many intricacies on my own, and then I can't get the thing done because I'm working. It seems precious to me. There's so many books and things that I've written early on that I almost don't want to touch because I don't want to kill my baby. But what ends up happening to me is that I spin something up with AI. I have so little, heart capacity invested in it that I can be very objective, very, very objective. Another thing that's actually going to be in that video that I'm doing is talking about objectivity and the ability to be the editor that your story needs.
And don't ever be embarrassed about anything, about what you're writing. Don't ever be embarrassed. And when I go back and read stuff I've written, I'm going, did I write that? I don't remember any of it. Okay, none of it. So look at who wrote it, and it sounds pretty good. I'm going like, wow, I wrote this. But don't be embarrassed and take risk. Take risk. And even if you do something like you copy, type out somebody else's stuff in there, not plagiarizing them. Just type it or read widely, watch a lot of movies, but you could type in 3 sentences of somebody notable and then say, how would you restructure this AI to make it more dramatic, to make it better written? You could like be a surgeon on other people's writing, you can, as well as your own.
Yeah, and you can. This sounds like
it's like
really
a
understanding
kaleidoscope.
craft.
It's like playing kaleidoscope with words.
Well, but I mean, it's like you're using your knowledge of craft to create these nuggets that the AI can then take and run with. And because you know your craft and because you know that you can do these certain like really interesting things with drama or conflict or whatever it is, that you create these moments that are real genuine and awesome, and that makes people want to come back and read your stuff.
Just grammar books. Good grammar books will have 20 reiterations of the same sentence. And each one has a different flavor. So you can ask the AI to do that for you and see what it does with your own words and how it can manipulate them and to make it more dramatic. You want the most powerful word at the end of the sentence. You want the cliffhangers at the end of the chapter. That kind of stuff. You want everything.
Well, but that's all craft. You have to be able. So you really should. You know what, everybody, start learning craft and the AI will help you with craft. Will help you understand. You can ask it weird things like
positive, negative. Ask it positive, negative. Say, hey, can you move the gist of this paragraph from positive to negative, or vice versa? And so it ends as a downer, it ends as an upper, and you can have that within a sentence. And that's Robert McKee from his book called Story.
I'm just saying, there's tons and tons of things like this that
read
your books. Read up on craft. Read if you've
or if you don't want to read up on it, just start asking the AI. Say, give me some ideas for craft manipulation of my words.
Ladies and gentlemen, and on that friggin' note, I present to you the incomparable, the workaholic, the amazing Ingrid. Thank you, Ingrid, so much. This has been, I can't explain to you. Everyone who's been watching this has probably been like, oh my God. Yes, they so positive. Yes, so positive. So, oh my goodness, so positive. Thank you. So refreshing and motivating. Can we bottle up Ingrid and keep samples of her on our
thank
desk
you.
so that we can, and when we need to pick up and get oh, whoa, hey, whoa, that's a lot.
That was
That's a lot,
cute.
Pluto.
I get it. It's like perfume.
Like a smell, no, like a smelling salt. Like a whoa. Oh, that's right. I got some Ingrid in me. Whoa, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ingrid. My name's Ikello Herod. This has been the Future Fiction Academy. Do me a favor, like, subscribe, like this video, please. Like this video right now. We're over 5,000 subscribers, but we always can use a new one. And come on over to the Academy and get into our accelerator. It's only $249 a month. You will learn how to write an entire book in 90 days, and you'll have that knowledge forever and be able to write as many books as you want. Look at Ingrid. Look at, oh, I gotta say, look at Ingrid. I mean, it's ridiculous. It gives you a superpower because she was already writing a lot of books, y'all. All right. My name's Ikello. This is Ingrid. We will see you in the future. And
thank you, Ikello.
you are quite welcome, Ingrid. And do me a favor, Ingrid. Stick around. I'm going to shut the show down, but stick around after I get off of the street. Don't just run away. All right. Okay. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is that for that. I hope you all had a good time, and I will see all of you in class.
So let's embrace the power.
Bye, y'all.
The magic of innate.
I can get this thing to go away. Bye.
A symphony of circuits we will rise. With every bow we share a new horizon. We're the architects of the digital dream.